Article 13 talks about what an organization needs to tell the data subject when they are collecting personal information of the data subject. Let us discuss about Article 13. Article 13.1 prescribes the mandatory information to be provided to the data subject. First thing they need to inform the data subject is about the details of the organization and how to contact them. Organization needs to provide the contact details of the data protection officer wherever applicable. Organization should explain why they are gathering the data and what legal reason they have for doing so. Organization should also specify if they are processing the data based on their interest or a third party's interest. They should tell what those interests are. Organization should specify who will see the data. If they are sharing the data with the others, they should specify details about the recipients. If organization plan to send the data to another country, they need to specify the same and provide details about this safeguard in place. So these are the requirement of Article 13.1. As per Article 13.2, following additional information should also be provided to ensure fair and transparent processing. So, what are these additional information? First one, period for which the personal data will be stored, or if that is not possible, criteria used to determine that period. Second one, different rights of the data subject, such as right to access the data, right of rectification, right of erasure, right to restrict the processing, and other such rights of the data subject. Third one, existence of right to withdraw the consent at any time. Fourth one, details about right to lodge a complaint with a supervisory authority. Next one, details about why data is required for processing, whether there is any legal requirement for collecting data, and what can be the consequences if data is not provided. For example, imagine a car rental company asks for your driver's license when you rent a car. They must tell you if this is a legal requirement or their company's internal policy. If you refuse to provide your driver's license, they might not rent you the car. This is the consequences. Details about the existence of automated decision making, profiling and meaningful information about different logic involved. So these are the data that need to be provided to the data subject at the time of obtaining the personal data. Let us now discuss about Article 13 in a nutshell. Article 13 are having 4 subclauses. Article 13.1 says that when information is directly collected from the data subject, some information to be provided to the data subject such as contact details of the controller and the DPO, purpose and legitimate interest, and recipients of the data, etc. We have already discussed about this in our earlier slide. Article 13.2 says that some additional information should also be provided such as period of data storage, different rights of the data subject, details about the automated decision making, etc. We also discussed this in our earlier slide. Article 13.3 says that in case of processing of any other purpose, above details should also be made available to the data subject prior to processing of that other purpose. Article 13.4 says that above paragraph, that is 13.1, 13.2 and 13.3 will not be applicable if data subject already has the above information. That's all about Article 13. Let us now discuss some of the key aspects of Article 13. First one, Article 13 applies in situation where personal data is directly collected from the data subject. Please note that when data is collected from the source other than the data subject, then Article 14 will apply. Second point, information to be given to the data subject must be given at the time data is obtained, that is prior to the beginning of the processing operations, beforehand. Third point, according to the Article 13(1)(c), controller must specify the reasons for processing the personal data, and they should also give the legal basis, corresponding legal basis. Now please understand, the legal basis must necessarily be found either in Article 6 or Article 9. So legal basis should be either from Article 6 or Article 9. Fourth important point, if it is not possible for the controller to give a specific date or time because the retention period may vary from one case to another, the criteria used to determine that period should at least be given. This is all about key aspect with respect to Article 13. Let us now recap Article 13 by way of multiple choice questions. Let us discuss the first question. Which of the following is one of the mandatory information the controller must provide to the data subject at the time of collecting the personal data? Correct answer is option C. The purpose of processing for which personal data are intended and corresponding legal basis. These are the requirement of Article 13(1). So purpose of processing is one of the same. Let us discuss what are the requirements. Identity and the contact details of the controller must be provided. Contact details of the data protection officer to be given if applicable. Purpose of processing, this is the answer in this question. Legitimate interest. Recipients of the personal data, and if it is planned to transfer the data to a third country, then the details about the same. Which of the following is not a mandatory information for the controller to provide to the data subject at the time of collecting the personal data? Correct answer is option D, that is financial standing of the controller. The reason is, apart from option D, all other options are covered in Article 13(1), which prescribes the mandatory data to be given to the data subject when personal data are obtained. Identity and contact details of the controller need to be given to the data subject. Contact details of the data protection officer need to be given to the data subject. Purposes of the processing need to be given to the data subject. However, financial standing of the controller is not a mandatory requirement. When must the controller provide information to the data subject if they intend to process the data for a purpose different from the original collection? Correct answer is option A, before collecting the data for new purpose. This is the requirement of Article 13(2). prior to further processing. Next question. What does the controller need to inform the data subject if automated decision making including profiling is involved? Correct answer is option C. Meaningful information about the logic, significance and other consequences of such process. This is the requirement of Article 13(2), which states that in case of automated decision making, controller must provide meaningful information about logic, significance and other details. That's all for this lecture. Thanks for watching.